Is it possible to build muscle and drop fat at the same time? I honestly believe that this is the most common goal among everyone in the fitness industry or anyone looking to get in shape. Men always want to be bigger and leaner, and females generally always want to be toned with more definition. But is it actually possible to do both at the same time? Of course it is. It is very possible to build muscle and drop fat at the same time. It is easy to do, and it is an amazing result when it happens, but yes, it's definitely possible. However, I do recommend building muscle and dropping fat at the same time as your number one primary goal. No, I don't. It's very hard for me to try and explain how to build muscle and drop fat at the same time, but I am going to do my best. I'm also going to try to explain why it is not the best idea to try to build muscle and drop fat at the same time as well. So the way you actually build muscle in general is by breaking down your muscles in the gym and building them back bigger and stronger through the rest and through correct nutrition. You would have heard me say this before, but you are not growing when you are training. You are growing when you are resting and eating, and this is very true. You put in the hard work at the gym, you come home, eat, and that's how you grow. Before you start a workout, your muscles are filled with glycogen, they are full, they are big, and they are hard. At the gym, let's say we are training biceps, for example. You do rep after rep after rep, and set after set after set until your muscles are completely broken down, torn apart, and depleted of glycogen. So at the end of the workout, your muscles are completely ripped apart and they are empty and ready to absorb anything that you put into your body because your body doesn't like your muscles being broken down. As we know, our body self-heals. Anytime we have an injury or cut or whatever our body works, it's magic and it heals us. It is exactly the same with our muscles. We break them down in the gym. The body does not want to be broken down, so it's going to do everything it can to repair, and they build back bigger and stronger. After we work out, we consume a protein shake. The reason we have a shake post-workout is because the protein is already broken down into little particles, and the protein is actually going to be absorbed very fast. If you were to eat, let's say, a chicken breast post-workout, your body has to break it down, digest it, and send the nutrients where it needs to go. It takes much longer. So after the gym, we have a protein shake with no carbs. The reason we have no carbs is because at the end of the workout, our growth hormone levels are at their absolute peak, and once we consume carbohydrates, they spike in our bodies, and insulin levels go up. When insulin is released into the body, it shuts our body's natural growth hormone production down. So I personally only like to consume a protein shake immediately after workout for the reason that reason alone. A lot of people believe that insulin is the most anabolic hormone and then growth hormone, which is a very fair argument, but the way I see it is why not have the best of both worlds? If you have your protein shake immediately after your workout, those proteins are going to get sucked straight into your muscles while your body's growth hormone levels are being released at their peak. Then about 30 minutes to an hour later, I would consume a large amount of lean meat with a lot of white to get the insulin spike and shuttle the nutrients into the muscles while they're still broken down. You can have carbs in your post-workout shake. It is not wrong, but from my personal experience, it works best for me to not do it. After our workout, our muscles are completely broken down and empty and ready to absorb anything you consume because they want to repair and get back to functioning at their best. The more you break your muscles down in a workout, the better. The more you break them down, the more they need to grow and recover, and the bigger they're going to grow. The way you actually build muscle is once they are completely broken down, you eat, and all the food that you consume gets sucked and broken down into your muscles and builds back bigger and stronger. Combine the food with adequate amounts of rest, and after about 3 to 6 days, the muscle is fully recovered, and you can go to the gym and do it all over again for that muscle group. Break the muscle down, eat, and rest and grow, and then repeat. Now this leads me into my next part of the topic of how to build muscle while minimizing body fat. I want you to picture your muscles as a jug of water, metaphorically speaking, so you can visualize what's happening inside your body. Before a workout, the jug of water is brim full with water, a nice even full jug. While you are training rep after rep and set after set, the water, which is representing the glycogen in your muscles, is slowly being emptied and used up. The harder you train, the more you break your muscles down to the emptier the jug becomes. Once you have completed your workout, I am assuming it was a killer workout, the jug is now empty and your muscles you just trained is now fully depleted of glycogen, or in the metaphor, the water is emptied. In this case, we are not going to use food as water to represent filling the jug back up. So the food is the water after the workout. After our workout, we consume our post-workout shake and it fills the jug up a little bit. After we consume our high GI carbohydrate and lean meat protein, that fills the jug up even more. Then you have your next meal that will fill the jug up even more, and so on and so on. Let's fast forward to your last meal of the day. With your last meal, you fill the jug up to the very top. This is how you maximize muscle growth. You fully deplete your muscles as the workout goes, break them down as much as you possibly can. The harder you train, the more you break them down. Then you eat, and fill them back up until the glycogen in the muscle has been fully replenished. Repeat this for weeks and months and you will make some serious progress in building muscle. However, if you eat, and let's say you forget your second meal of the day, the second last meal of the day, the jug of water begins to be able to not hold it in the muscle anymore. The water spills over. You ate too much at this time. Spilling over is actually the correct terminology, and that is how you put on body fat. After your workout, you eat, but it eventually gets to a point where your muscles cannot absorb any more food. Your muscles have completely filled back up, and the extra food is now going to be stored as fat, mostly the carbs. Unfortunately for us, we cannot see inside your muscles. We have no idea how much food our muscles can actually absorb after a workout, so you don't actually know when you're spilling over until it happens. One of the most common problems people have when trying to build muscle is that bodybuilding muscle comes with gaining a lot of body fat. However, once again, there is a way around this, and it makes perfect sense. Even though you can't physically see what's going on inside the body, you can still play it smart and use common sense to have a good understanding of what's going on without actually knowing. After you have finished watching this video, I want you to watch the other video, How to Build Muscle Through Dieting Correctly, because it takes you through the exact process on how to build muscle while minimizing body fat. I don't know the actual correct statistic for what I am about to say. I am just going off what I believe to be correct, as everyone is different. I do believe if you get your diet and training spot on, you can put anywhere between 300 and 700 and maybe 800 grams, if you're lucky, of lean muscle mass on in 1 week. And that is a full nail that week, and to get everything absolutely perfect. So 300 to 800 grams of muscle in 1 week without putting on fat, that is just pure muscle we're talking about. Now, instead of being able to actually see inside the muscle in our body, this is where the scale comes into it. You want to get your body weight to stabilize on a certain amount of food. So what that means is you are eating the same amount of food for 2 to 3 weeks. Your body is pretty much staying exactly where it is. It's not going up or it's not going down on that particular day because of the intake of food you're eating. You are training hard, breaking the muscles down, eating the same amount of food on a daily basis, and your weight is not changing. Right then, at this point, you know your body can handle that amount of food and you're not going to be putting on any fat, because if you were putting on fat, you would be going up and not staying the same. So the week after you have gotten your body weight to stabilize on a certain amount of food, you would increase your carbohydrates a little. After the carb increase, let's say your body went up in weight 300 grams. Perfect result. You know that it's realistic amount of muscle you have just put on in 1 week. You haven't spilled over too much and you are growing. This is great. The week after, you increase your carbs again and you put on 500 grams. Perfect again. You are growing with little spillover. There may be a little fat, but I am tipping majority of what's going on in the muscle because you are training so hard in the gym, really breaking those muscles down and eating the right food at the right time. The week after, you increase your carbs again, and this time you put on 1 kilogram, which is both a good result and a bad result at the same time. It is highly likely you have built up more muscle, but highly likely you have put on a little bit of body fat as well, which is fine. When it does come time to cut and lean up, it's very easy to get rid of it if you put the work in. Hard work, yes, but the process is simple. Do you understand where I'm coming from a little bit? You want to get your body to use a certain amount of food, let your body weight stabilize, and gradually increase your carbs at a rate to where your body can handle it without putting crazy amounts of weight on. Remember, every single person is going to be different. This is correct and 100% guaranteed and the most effective process to build muscle while minimizing body fat. I did say I was going to teach you how to build muscle and lose fat at the same time, and once again, this makes perfectly good sense when you're thinking logically. Put logic, common sense, and discipline all together and you can't go wrong. It really is so simple. We break the muscles down as much as we possibly can during our workouts. When we eat until our muscles are filled back up, and we want to fill them right back up to where maximizing our muscle growth. If you are only half filling them up, you're only getting half the results and half the recovery, which means half the growth. You always want your muscles to be full and replenished. So after we eat, our muscles fill back up at this time. We have eaten a little too much, not on purpose, just because we don't actually know how much we can eat. We are just going off what we weigh on the scale each week. So now we ate too much and our muscles cannot absorb any more food. They are completely full and we have spilled over, and that's not what we want. It's going to be stored as fat. The only way you can get rid of that spilled over fat is to burn it off, and that's when the cardio comes into the equation. Everyone's favorite activity, I know. But remember, all foods add up to be a certain amount of calories. So we eat till our muscles are completely restored, which we maximize muscle recovery and therefore maximize muscle growth, and we burn any spillover with cardio. So each day we break our muscles down. We eat to build them back up bigger and stronger. We completely replenish glycogen in the muscle. We do 30 minutes to an hour's cardio every day to ensure the spillover is burned off. Your muscles are getting the nutrients from the food that we have consumed, but our bodies are not getting the calories from the food we burnt off with the cardio. Now let's go back to the week where you put on 1 kilogram from the increase in carbs, and let's say you added 45 minutes of cardio each day for that entire week. You would not put on 1 kilogram this time. Round, you might only put on 500 grams, but because of the cardio, you know that is going to be pure muscle because you have burnt any spillover off. Again, I recommend steady state cardio for this because you're not burning muscle. Now, it is highly likely because you're training so hard and getting your cardio done, you will not only be building muscle, but you will be dropping fat at the same time. Even if you're not dropping fat, you are going to appear a lot leaner because more muscle actually means you look leaner. The skin gets tighter and you get bigger and fuller. I did mention earlier that I don't recommend to try to build muscle and drop fat at the same time. It does take a lot longer. It is a lot harder work on a daily basis. Seriously, who wants to be doing 45 minutes to an hour's of cardio a day in their life, plus an hour's workout, plus eating 6 to 7 to 8 times a day? Not me. I always recommend getting lean before having an off season. Makes a huge difference in terms of the motivation and your enjoyment in the gym and in life. After you have finished watching this video, I want you to go through my video gallery and watch the video How to Lose Fat Through Dieting Correctly, and I will take you through the process of how to get lean while maintaining your muscle mass. If you're already carrying a little bit of body fat and you start your off season and you put on even more fat, you're going to be extremely disoriented, and it's going to be very hard to work to get that weight off. When you are lean, you visually look better in the mirror. You see more definition in your muscles when you are working out, and it is a much better experience than going to the gym carrying excess body fat. It just doesn't feel good. So no matter what position you are in terms of your training, get lean first, get rid of all that fat, because it will give you a good understanding of where you actually are in terms of how much muscle you have. Once you have gotten nice and lean, I would say stay around 10% body fat or below. You have earned the right to have a proper off season at that point. Commit to growing for 16 weeks, train as hard as you can, and really break those muscles down until the point that you are in pain and feel like they're on fire. Training intensity is so important when it comes to putting on size. Train like an animal, really destroy your muscles, and do what I said earlier. Each week you need to watch the scale. You want to be going anywhere from 300 to 800 grams up per week. Focus all your efforts on building muscle and really enjoying the process of getting big. I promise if you spend 16 weeks focusing all your energy on getting lean first, getting rid of all the fat, then you spend 16 weeks focusing all your efforts on putting size on, you will see so much progress during a 16-week cut and then a 16-week bulk if you did 32 weeks trying to build muscle and drop fat at the same time. There's a difference. You need to be very smart about it. So tear it up, guys, and let's do it.